We've had quite a strong magnitude 3.6 earthquake striking New York today. That's the area right there. Unfortunately, the USGS stops that square right in that area. If you live in Long Island, please let me know if you have felt it, because those that have reported it to the USGS show that it's over 1,000 people. 1,017 reported to USGS as having felt it, and this is in the area. And the next video I'm going to put up has to do with the Keweenan Fault and the Mantle Plume around the Great Lakes, and this is exactly where this thing is, this earthquake. Unfortunately, many geologists don't tell us that there is magma underneath the Great Lakes. At one point, Lake Superior was flush against Wyoming, and the Great Plains have spread because of the magma underneath, spreading it there. And that mantle plume has been there for almost 1 billion years. It's like a horseshoe-shaped thing, just like the Great Lakes are shaped like a horseshoe. So this is the area right there, 3.6 magnitude earthquake at 16 UTC. So that's about what, noon New York time, at 8.9, 10 kilometers depth. That's about 6 miles down. Adirondack Mountains, Kingston, Ontario area. And going back to the, let me see if we pull in. If I pull in, can I see anything? Where exactly it is, the topographic. Where exactly it is. Watertown, okay? It's just like 10 miles southwest of Watertown. And I know there's, we used to go swimming there in Lake George, around that area, when we were living in Montreal. So basically, it's border United States and Canada, at the border of Lake Ontario, just under St. Lawrence River. Now we know that you can see there, that area, at the 1 o'clock position there, 1 o'clock position coming into that is the St. Lawrence River. And then you have the Great Lakes. And if you extend that downwards towards 6, 7 o'clock position, you have basically the New Madrid seismic zone, or what we call the New Madrid, which should be called the New Madrid Rift Valley, because that continues basically towards the Mississippi River. And we know every river is a fault line. That's the first thing you learn in Geology 101 in university. I was lucky enough to take one elective course in my biology courses I took in university for my bachelor's. And the first thing you learn is that every river is a fault line. So basically, the United States, continental United States, and I'm going to do a video on this right after this, because most people don't know what is on the East Coast. And there we go. 1,017 people reported to USGS. I'm sure tens of thousands must have felt it. There's magma under there, under those Great Lakes right there. And then New Madrid seismic zone, of course. So most people don't really feel it as much on the West Coast at 3.6, but a 3.6 on the East Coast is felt a lot. So it says here, tectonic summary: earthquakes in the stable continental region, naturally occurring earthquake activity. Most of North America east of the Rocky Mountains has infrequent earthquakes. Here and there, earthquakes are more numerous, for example, in the New Madrid seismic zone, centered on southeastern Missouri, Charlevoix, Kamaturka seismic zone of eastern Quebec. That's what we're talking about right here. In New England and New York, Philadelphia, Wilmington, urban corridor, and elsewhere. This is exactly where it's happening here. Moreover, most of the enormous regions from the Rockies to the Atlantic can go years without an earthquake large enough to be felt. and several U.S. states have never reported damaging earthquake. Earthquakes east of the Rockies, although less frequent than in the West, are typically felt over a much broader region than earthquakes of similar magnitude in the West. East of the Rockies, the earthquakes can be felt over an area more than 10 times larger than a similar earthquake in the West Coast. It would not be unusual for a magnitude 4 earthquake, this is about 3.6, just about a 4, in eastern or central North America to be felt by a significant percentage of the population, in many communities more than 60 miles from its source. A magnitude 5.5 earthquake in eastern and central North America might be felt by much of the population out to more than 300 miles from its source. Earthquakes east of the Rockies that are centered in populated areas and large enough to cause damage are similarly likely to cause damage out to greater distances than earthquakes of the same magnitude centered in western North America. Most earthquakes in North America east of the Rockies occur as faulting within bedrock, usually miles deep. Few earthquakes east of the Rockies, however, have been definitely linked to mapped geological faults, and in contrast to the situation at plate boundaries, such as California's San Andreas Fault, where scientists can commonly use geological evidence to identify a fault that has produced a large earthquake and that's likely to produce large future earthquakes, scientists who study eastern and central North American earthquakes often work from the hypothesis that modern earthquakes occur as a result of slip on pre-existing faults that were formed in earlier geological eras and that have been reactivated under the current stress condition. The bedrock of eastern North America is, however, laced with faults that were active in earlier geologic eras, and few of these faults are known to have been active in the current geologic era. In most areas east of the Rockies, the likelihood of future damaging earthquakes is currently estimated from the frequencies and sizes of instrumentally recorded earthquakes or earthquakes documented in historic records. So this is it right here, and all of you that live in that area upstate New York, I'm sure you have felt it. If you live in this Long Island, please let us know, Manhattan, Long Island, if you have felt it as well. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.